Hello and welcome to the finale of the Racetech V8 Supercar Series live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me for the final time this season is Marco Barboneer. And like I said, it is the season finale. This is when the season is going to be decided. Marco going into this round, Nicole Foggy with a handy advantage. But it could still change slightly at this final round at Mid-Ohio.
Oh yes, hello everyone, hello Sam. Yes, here we are for the final race of the season, and what a season this has been, with a lot of back and forth between three drivers, but in the end it seems like it's going to be this guy, Nicole Foggy, XVR Sim Racing. He could be really the one celebrating and lifting the trophy come the end of the day, but who knows, of course. We still have to race, and as per tradition of this lovely championship, we are ending the proceedings with a super sprint event here on the short layout here at Mid-Ohio, Sam, and a track that it's very short in itself, but of course, even shorter today, as you can see from the track map.
Yeah, so we miss out the keyhole, the keyhole, I believe it's called, for turn 2, and so we cut across slightly, but apart from that, it's like it's very similar. Pretty much no obvious overtaking areas. However, due to that, you lose the straight down into turn 3, and also turn 2 isn't as big an opportunity either. So will be quite an interesting one. Of course, the super sprints today, so we get 3 15-minute races at the end of each of those races. We will spin the reverse grid wheel and reverse the order from the previous race by that amount for the grid for the next race. We're currently in a 10-minute qualifying session, got about 6 minutes remaining in it. And at the moment, it is Nicole Foggy at the top of the standings, and it's been quite incredible, Marco, how he's been able to bring it back. This has probably been the best that Foggy's ever driven, I think, for these past few rounds. And after a terrible first 2 rounds of the championship, he's just been so good, particularly in the endurance meetings so far this season, which have got him back into the championship by about round 8, and now going into this round 12, I believe it is. He's quite comfortably clear. It's quite remarkable how consistent he's been.
In one of the latest edition of the Apex Racing TV podcast, which was basically before everything else happened in the world, and we had the time to do that semi-regularly. I said that if in the next weekend, which I don't remember which one it was, McLeay was going to have a good result, it was game over for Foggy. And I really jinxed poor McLeay, because from that moment on, Foggy has been absolutely untouchable in this championship. And as I say that, oh, that's Brandon, sorry. Well, there he is. What I know, it reminds me of what happened. I think was 2012, I think, when Vettel came basically from the summer break and dominated the left, right and center, bringing home the title. If I'm not mistaken, that was the season. I mean, fantastic performance. He is going to end the season as a worthy champion, because I mean, McLeay and Brandon, especially McLeay, put up a hell of a fight. Brandon, of course, as you can see right here, very famously had one of the worst start of the season for a defending champion. Reminds me of Chelsea in 2016 after they won the Premier League title. But really made a good effort to come back, and in the end can be pretty satisfied with the second half of the season, especially considering that he always says that, of course, Foggy is faster than him, so he's almost okay with the fact to finish second. The big disappointment, if I can say, from this season, and he will tell you the same, is Tony Klusterman, who has been more down than up, I would say. Still trying to get to grip with the new tire model, no pun intended, and of course the new cars that in the end, we can say have really given a nice second lease of life to the championship. I mean, championship which was very popular still, but of course in the first few rounds of the season we had an explosion of sign-ups, and still now very strong numbers and much needed change for the iRacing supercars landscape to have, of course, the new cars and hopefully very soon some new Australian tracks. But yeah, I mean, we come to this end of the season with these triple headers are always chaotic. So thankfully, sorry, I wanted to say, unfortunately, we don't have Dane Bird setting up purple sectors today. In the booth, I think he's busy doing some rallycross. More on that hopefully in the next few days. But yeah, cannot wait. And we have 2 minutes left in qualifying, and you can see Foggy, McClay, and Klusterman in your top 3. And I would say the rookie of the year, can I say, Marco Nurmela, even though he's not really a rookie, because he's very, very experienced, but he really had a fantastic season. And of course, Johnny Brandon in 5th.
Yeah, Brandon needs to improve that. So I've just had an absolute coughing fit, and
I thought you were listening with a lot of attention and you were not interrupting because I went on for like 10 minutes and I apologize.
I think I like. Oh, I feel terrible. Jeez, that was awful. Brandon is fit, so sorry if my voice is a little bit weird for a couple of minutes. Yeah, so Brandon a little bit further down than he won, but it's really close. 3.5 tenths of a second. 4 tenths of a second separates the top 8. Everyone's close though. Top 12 separates by 7 tenths. It's really is extremely competitive out there today, which is a fantastic. As Michael was saying before, lots of entries in this series. I think this is the most amount of drives we've ever had for a season finale. Usually we're below the 15 mark, but I think 20 is that a record?
I think it's if it's not a record, it's very close to it. So again, very very good messages for the future of the championship, I'd say. So let's let's end up on a high, and let's hope that the Blue Oval brings home a victory or two today. It's the last race, so I can be biased all I want. So not that no one is going to complain, hopefully. It's the worst kept secret in the world that I'm a big fan. There you see, of course, very very much a Holden front row right now, with the top 2 of Foggy and McClay. Klusterman switched to the 4 this season, or maybe today.
No, I think he's been in the 4 all season.
Oh wow, I never noticed it.
It's not worked very well for him. In fact, we're going to have our first Holden champion in since season 4, I believe.
Since Michael Doka, he won the title with
Michael
the Holden.
Doka season 4. Yeah. So that would be quite something. Of course, Foggy won, of course, for his second title. The only thing that could change is the fact that, of course, you can't drop this final round of the season. But even then, I don't think Foggy has the capabilities of losing out. And currently, with the way that the champion that the grid is forming up, he's looking pretty good. Is the Scot at the moment? Andrew Hoffman, just one of the last drivers on track. Steve Lavelli as well. In fact, he's back to the pits, and Anthony Woodward as well. But all these are not legitimate lap times, I believe. So we'll run down the final 30 seconds or so of this qualifying session before we go through your first grid. Just a reminder once again, that's 3 races tonight, 15 minutes each, and this one is the only one which will be ordered kind of pace order, where the front guys where the top guys are at the front and the slower guys are near the rear. So it will probably be the most conventional race, I guess, of the day, but it could still be very entertaining, and certainly how close it was in qualifying certainly does look that way. So qualifying is completed. And we can go through your grid then. And on pole position, once again, is Nicole Foggy. George McClay lines up alongside him. Tony Klusman, one of his best qualies in recent rounds, starts in third alongside Chris Jackson. They were very good at the super sprints back at Barber Motorsports Park. There's Marco Namella, ahead of Johnny Brandon, defending champion. Bit of a disappointing quali for Johnny. Then it's Richard Warmingham, Joshua Chin, Steve Lavelli, Jamie McKnight, Jamie Wilson, Wayne Sanderson, all those top 12 really close. So it's Nikolai Bogotyrev starting 1 second off the pace. There's Anthony Woodward, Michael Frost, Jamie Jeffrey, Andrew Hoffman, and Ben Cullen. Those were the drivers who set times. We hope to see Sam Buzan and Bill Switzer also take to the grid. In fact, Switzer and Buzan are both on the grid. That is a good thing. Foggy is on the grid, however, most of the guys in the top 5 are not. Marco, I guess it's going to be an important start, as we often talk about in this series, but there's so few obvious overtaking areas that Foggy needs to try to hold the lead. But is that inside line necessarily the better line to take going into turn 1?
Yeah, I mean, you can basically maybe be, put your elbows out if you are on the inside and maybe quote-unquote force your opponent into the grass. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So Jamie McKnight hasn't taken the grid, but away we go for race 1 at Mid-Ohio. It's a strong start for Foggy. He should be clear on McClay. Oh, instant with Chin and Bogotyrev further down the order, but Foggy's got through turn 1 safely, and almost a move from Klusman trying to have a go at. Oh, the two Never Quit Racing drivers, I think, have taken each other out. I think Jackson went into the back of Klusman. I wasn't quite sure, but they're both gone falling down the order. There is Klusman, and he's right back down into 19th place. So as one Never Quit Racing driver doesn't take the start, the other two take each other out, and it means that Johnny Brennan has moved up into 3rd place. He's also got past Michael Namella. So incredible start, and yeah, that was very uncalculated.
And big gap already between the top 2 and the rest of the field, as you were saying, led by Johnny Brandon. Of course, now that the first lap has been sorted, the trouble spot, I seem to recall, also from practice, but also from personal experience, is going to be the final corner, because how many times we see people push on the gas too hard and spin on that inside wall, so they need to be careful as they complete lap 1. And again, 50 minutes of racing here in Mid-Ohio. Let's get a replay of the start.
Yeah, so this was with Woodward then. Oh, so it was Sanderson and Bogotyrev who hit then. But I'm not sure who came across on who. And then this was the Jackson one. Oh, he was hit by Namella.
Namella, yeah.
And then Brandon is thank you very much, and Namella inadvertently basically gives Brandon 3 places there. I mean, that's always going to be a trouble spot. I think it's probably going to be a trouble spot more on this short layout, because someone's going to go in a little bit too deep, and everyone's coming the inside line. Frost is off the circuit. That's at the bottom of the hill at turn 4 or turn 5. And quite a bit of damage on that machine. So yeah, it's Foggy leading the way. McClay still in 2nd place, same as they were at the start of the event. Brandon up 3 places up into 3rd. Then it's Namella, Warmingham, Sanderson up 6, despite having that initial contact with Bogotyrev. Then it's Wilson, Woodward, Jeffrey, and Hoffman. Chris Jackson's trying to make his way back up. He is down 8 places, Jackson, but both him and Chin will feel like they should be a little bit further up. There goes Chin down the inside on Hoffman. Oh, he pushes Hoffman off the circuit. He skates off the knee tire model. It's so slippery on the grass, and he drops 5 or 6 places.
First of all, apologies to everyone. These cameras are absolutely dreadful. I promise.
Well, maybe you should have installed them, Marco. Maybe you should have got the camera pack.
Better cameras made by Sam Fitzpatrick are coming for race 2. Jesus, these are really bad. I mean, this is, these are the opposite of the traditional racing default camera. These are too close. Like it's. Oh dear. Let's check with the guys at the front. I mean, it's the opposite of Sebring, basically.
our Subin Club. It can't be as bad as Subin Club though, is it?
I mean,
Worthy
107.1.
opponent.
Great
What-
lap.
So I was just going to say, what's exceptional about these short layout camera packs is that what you can do on iRacing is you can put the full one and then load it into the short version, and then just take a few cameras away, as you can imagine. So you just take the turn 2 camera away around this, so I can edit a little bit. iRacing, for some sort of reason, get a brand new camera pack, and for some and remarkably, they make it even worse for the short layout. So sorry for the images that you're seeing, but like Marcus said, races 2 and 3 will be significantly better. I'm seeing some lovely cameras for me. So there is Jeffy. He's a rookie driver. Is Jamie Jeffy, of course, in his opening season, but I think it's only a matter of time till Chin gets past.
You must be very excited about the new feature that has been announced yesterday by Racing. The
Yeah.
new camera features that are coming. So, oh, Tony has a problem. Oh, he went wide there. Thankfully, saved the car. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. Oh dear! Here comes on the inside.
Oh, great move from Jackson. Gets past the pair of them. It was Chin who forced him a little bit wide, and now Jeffrey loses 2 positions right there. But that was a nice work from Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson, really opportunistic move there. I say traditional move by Chris Jackson. 5 minutes in the books, 10 left. At the front of the field, 1.2 seconds between the champion-elect Nicole Foggy and George McClay. 3 seconds behind the leader, we can see Johnny Brandon. Everyone is pretty much spread out here, apart from, which is crazy, apart from this bunch of drivers here.
A lot of them are out of position, of course. Now riding on board with Steve Lavelli, who is going to win the club championship. Dare I say he's already won it, to be honest. He absolutely must have done well. Clear. Clyde Whiting in 2nd place. A little bit of a shame that Greg Carp hasn't done the past few rounds, and even when he was around, couldn't quite put up the challenge that it looked like he was going to be able to see after the media day. So much has changed since the media. I mean, it was a while ago, to be fair, Marco. It was like 5 months ago, the media day, but we had all these presumptions, and the season's really turned out very differently to what that it implied.
I mean, you are lucky that you remember Media Day, because as I was saying in our little chat today, I was doing my end of season commission roundup, and I was going through some broadcasts, and I thought to myself, did I really do this? I have no recollection of half the stuff I did over the past 3 months. Granted, I did a lot of them, but I mean, I feel like I'm in need of a long vacation, you know?
Exactly. As we might see a move for Klosterman. Gets the cut back on Buzan. It's taking his time. I mean, you must have earned 5 figures, to be honest, Marco, from the amount of commentary you've been doing this this season. So once again into turn 2 for Klosterman. Just no way past him there. He's quite patient. It's Tony. Oh, off the track is that Hoffman, who thinks of, well, there's a corner there, but I just won't drive around it.
I think he'll get a cut in the track penalty with a long stop and go, because
he should do.
Just like you get at Summit Point if you go straight at the hairpin and rejoin the track on the other side. Even though you spend hours maybe wandering in the grassy fields around the racetrack, Racing decides you cut the track. They give you, I think, a 40-second penalty, 45-second penalty, something like that. But these guys are really spicing up this race. As also there at the front, I think that Johnny Brandon is coming under attack from Marco Nurmela.
Nurmela, who was so quick at Brands Hatch, a worthy 2nd place, and put a lot of pressure on Foggy. There really were patches across the event where he had the pace on Foggy. couldn't quite turn out. I mean, next season, if he sticks with it, Namella, he will be arguably the biggest challenger. I think once again, McClay will be very strong, Brandon will be strong, but Namella's on a very upwards trajectory because he had decent pace at the start of the season, Marco, but I think in the races he was still probably half a second a lap off, and he was making a lot of mistakes, but he's really improved on that recently.
He really has. I mean, again, we have seen time and time again, and with this new car, this has not changed. You really need massive amounts of seat time with the V8 to get back to basically to get to a level where you not only can be fast but also consistent. And Marco finally seems to be coming into his own. Hopefully, sticks around for the next few seasons, because he could really become. And no matter what, we'll always be fans of this championship. So I'm looking forward to the next seasons and seeing what happens. Even though we won't be broadcasting it, but it's I'll keep on following, and I think that Marco and McClay can really be champions of the future. As again, Jeffrey being pushed wide. Oh, Archibald! Oh, they pulled the spin there. Ah, dearie me, Tony Klusterman. Maybe with I don't know, a snapshot of his whole season, basically. There. Let's get a replay. Oh, that was very strange. Which is not here, but it was here. They morphed into each other. Thankfully, they didn't collect those other two cars that were fighting with them. And back racing. Man, that was...
Well, he needs a big reverse, does Tony. So if that does happen, he'll be in the box seat, probably. Here was the mistake from Andrew Hoffman. That's why he went off the track and back to the pits as well. Here's Hoffman.
And Chris Jackson with a moment of his own. And I think he lost the position to Chin.
I think it's just Australians who make that mistake, because when I was doing Aussie Mixed and Fixed around here in the GTEs, everyone made that mistake. It was unreal. I mean, I appreciate that it's tricky, guys, but we had probably about 4 out of the top 10, along with 5 or 6 others down the order, all make that mistake. I think one guy made it twice. So I think it's just something down there. It's just one of their things. That they really seem to struggle with that corner. You think of all, and Melbourne as well, Albert Park. The amount of times you dip a wheel onto the outside and you spin around, just seems to be an Australian tradition or something.
Yeah, Sam, of course, bad-mouthing Australia, which of course is a new law, especially considering that he does pretty regularly AOSC, no? So
I'm not doing AOSC next season.
Okay.
I got dropped. I wasn't Australian enough.
Yeah.
it was probably all my my xenophobia, which was hindered the broadcast quality.
Oh man.
But Costa Clyde Whiting, being a proud Norfolker, down at oh dear, and that was Aussie again, because that was a lot of netcode between McKnight and Jeffrey, who was having a very good race. Up in the top 10 was Jeffrey at one point, but he drops to 15th now. Yeah, Clyde Whiting from the fantastic county of Norfolk. That's why I love this series, because it's very, very homegrown, which is very good. Brandon now 4 seconds behind George McClay. Quite a gap between those two drivers. Namella 9/10 of a second back, but there's no sign of a move at the moment. But this is one of McClay's more competitive rounds, I would say. They're now lapping Bogatire, but I can't remember the last time that McClay really was an equal to Foggy on pace. He's been quite distant in recent rounds, and at most rounds, like Bathurst was a good example, he was only kind of 3rd or 4th fastest, it seems. But here, he seems to be pretty much a match for his fellow Scot.
Yes, I think he's having. I mean, pace-wise, seems to be good now. If he can avoid maybe in the reverse grid, if he can, jump Foggy quickly at the start, and maybe Foggy gets into a bit of traffic, and of course, I mean, a lot of pieces have to fall in the right place in these super sprint events to get everything working right. But who knows? Maybe George can end the season on a high with a good result also in race 2 and race 3. Here comes Joshua Chin on Anthony Woodward.
Easy for Chin into turn 1. Not much defence put up by Woodward, so Chin back to where he started in 8th place.
On the chat, Clyde is pitching for the Norfolk V8 Supercar series, which it's a stuff of nightmares because it means that we are racing every time in Snetterton, which
3 layouts.
Yeah, one worse than the other.
3 layouts. What, the 100? Which is just the infield, not even a pit lane. So half the rounds could be at that configuration. That'd be brilliant. We could be sponsored by all kinds of different Norfolk companies. Be fantastic. No, yeah, I'm very much up for that one. And I mean, I've done a little bit of research, and there's a lot of Anglia is the second highest kind of population of iRacers in the UK. It's much higher than, for example, like London
after
or
the Isle of
North.
Man,
The Isle of Man, yeah. But I swear, there's more. Honestly, there's more people from the Isle of Man than I think there is from Ireland. It's absolutely crazy. Josh and I think Bod Boland as well, isn't he? There's a few of them out there. Anyway, out in the lead. Not many Scottish guys either. But the few Scots that there are representing their nation very well. Because Nicole Foggy, the champion-elect, rounds the penultimate corner into the final corner for the final time. And he will take another race victory. Race 1 at Mid-Ohio goes to Nicole Foggy. Second place is George McClay. Johnny Brenton holds off Namella for third. And it's all quite spread out behind that. Shouldn't be any runs to the lines between any of these drivers. Top of the amateur drivers, I think, will be Steve Lavelli, who is currently running in 11th place. Here he is. And the amateur champion, along with the pro champion, crosses the line as well. Drivers on the lead lap will be Ben Cullen in 17th place. And Mikey, you do need to remind me, do you need to be on the lead lap to be eligible for the reverse grid in this series?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thanks for that. So Nikolai Bogotayev misses out, which is a shame. So too does Bill Switzer and Andrew Hoffman.
Just waiting for Ben to come around the final corner. Then we will be ready to give you the final results and, of course, spin that wheel for the penultimate time.
Yep, and yeah, that's Cullen across the line. It's everyone. I unfortunately, Mike, I don't have the overlay up for reasons I will go into during the break. Are the results ready?
The results are almost ready. Just getting ready to bring them up, and here we go.
Awesome. So Nicole Foggy wins out. 2.5 seconds clear of George McClay, Johnny Branton, rounding out the All-British podium. Then it's Marco Namella, Richard Warmingham, a bit of a quiet 5th place there for him, but he did well. Wayne Sanderson, up 6 places up into 6th. Jamie Wilson in 7th. Then it's Joshua Chin doing very well after an early incident with Nikolai Bogotayev. Woodward and Jackson round out the top 10. Watch out for Jackson come race 2. Steve Lavelli finished in 11th. Then it was Samuel Buzan, Jamie McKnight, Michael Frost, Jamie Jeffrey, Tony Klusterman, Ben Cullen was the last driver on the lead up, so the last driver eligible for the reverse grid. Nikolai Bogotayev, Bill Switzer, and Andrew Hoffman all finish at least one lap down. So Marco, we don't get to do this a whole lot. Certainly I don't. I don't know about you, how often you can spin the reverse grid wheel, but certainly savour it because this is the penultimate time you'll be able to do it for this series.
Yeah, I mean it's been quite a dying breed, this reverse grid wheel. Most of the series we broadcast nowadays don't employ this technique, which I absolutely love, even though we are trying to keep the tradition alive with the Apex Racing series, of course, no? So
Yes.
the Apex Racing League. So, but yeah, the wheel should be on your screen right now, and for the penultimate time, let's roll it. Okay, it's a massive one. It is 30 minus 1, which at least here in Italy makes 29. And therefore, I think we are getting a full reverse.
Yep, so it'll be Ben Cullen then on pole position. Tony Klosterman alongside him on the front row of the grid. Surely Tony will be able to take that race victory. Certainly will be the favourite for it. You'll have to find out what happens then in about 15 minutes when we return on Apex Racing TV for the penultimate race of this Racetech V8 Supercar series. Certainly do join us back very soon. welcome back to the Racetech V8 Supercar series. We are prepping for race 2 of this season finale at Mid-Ohio, the season finale of this season 8 of the championship. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and back alongside me is Marco Barbinet, and new to the scene is this camera pack, which is much better. Marco, we're looking forward to actually seeing the cars in this one. We'll make quite a change.
I mean, this is absolutely astonishing. Also, I love the attention to detail that you put into the camera pack. As you can see now, as the scenic cameras are rolling through, we also have a close-up shop. Oh, here we go, the Italian sausage stand here at the racetrack. They also make dumplings apparently, and I think also in a few seconds we are going to have a quick look at Steve and Dale in the Mid-Ohio Racing School welcoming us. And of course, if you ever get lost, you can see here Sam very thoughtfully put the road signs for Columbus, Cleveland, and other nice cities. So I mean, no, Cleveland is not very nice, but whatever.
It's one of the worst places, isn't it? Isn't it, in the US? I've heard at least. But did they have Kobe Bryant in the past? Or they had a famous basketball player, LeBron James. There you go. He played for them. So that was their one claim to fame. Anyway, the practice session has pretty much been completed, and so we will be able to go through your starts in order pretty soon. Hopefully we'll be able to see Steve and Dale before we have to tune over to actually seeing some of the racing cars which are out on circuit today. But on pole position then is Ben Cullen. After it was pretty much a full reverse grid, Cullen is on pole, Tony Klusman in second place, then it's Jamie Jeffrey, Michael Frost, Jamie McKnight, Samuel Buzan, Steve Lavelli, Chris Jackson, Anthony Woodward, Joshua Chin, Jamie Wilson, Wayne Sanderson, Richard Warmingham, Marco Namella, Johnny Brandon, George McClay, Nicole Foggy, Bill Switzer, and Andrew Hoffman. Rounding out the 19 car field we have for this race 2 of the evening. Remember, if race 3 will also be reversed, but already everyone is onto the grid. The lights are coming on. Hopefully we have a better start than we did in race 1. Cullen leads them away, but straight away it's Klusman who storms off into the lead. Good starts well for the 360 car of Jeffrey to move ahead. Cullen's already losing a lot of places, just letting as many cars as he can possibly go into turn 1 and turn 2. A little bit of through one. Oh, there's contact. Once again, I think it's Jackson, and off the circuit is Klusman further up the order. And we've also got Wilson, and we've got Lavelli, and we've got Foggy as well, the champion-elect. And off the circuit again is Brandon now. They're all struggling. I think half the order at least have gone off the circuit. And it's now Michael Frost who is leading this race. Klusman somehow has messed it up, and Buzan goes into the wall as well. So take a photo of this, because we've got a Frost, Jeffrey 1-2 at the moment. Up 9 places is George McClay, and that's one of the most... Frost now with a 0.4 of a second advantage over Jeffrey. But it's all pretty close at the moment between these guys. Certainly would back Jackson and Klusman to get past these drivers eventually in this race. But I mean, Foggy's way down the order, Lavelli way down, Brandon outside the top 10, Hoffman turning back to the pits as we see kind of what happened down at turn 2. That's how Klusman made the mistake.
Did Tony forget that we are on a short layout?
Well, yeah, that's a genuine point, because that racing line through turn 1, that's like you would take it the full layout.
I know I've made that mistake several times in other tracks, not this, because I've never raced actually on this layout, but especially when you race around Lime Rock, as Bill Switzer goes in the grass, and maybe there are like 2 cities in Lime Rock at the same time, and they use slightly different layouts, especially that dreaded chicane. Sometimes I forget about the chicane and thinking it's the full uphill right-hander, and a couple of times I have sadly smashed into some poor guy who did nothing wrong, and also it looks pretty bad, and I have to like beg me, guy, Man, it's not intentional. I'm stupid. Because it looks very suspicious, no? You basically go through and completely smash in the back of someone.
It's also suspicious that as every time your brake pedal breaks, Marco, you just happen to spear off into someone. Here's a change for second place potentially. Jeffrey stays down the inside, and Jackson goes off, and he is now using the full layout. It's Jackson because that's how far off the circuit he went, and that's any chance out of a race win for this race 2 gone for Chris Jackson. He's still very slow, gets him back onto the circuit. That's pretty good news for Tony Klusman, even though I'm sure he won't be thinking that he's a nice bloke. As he goes past Jamie Jeffrey, can Jeffrey stay down the inside? No, he can't. And Klusman does move up into second place, also trying to get past this Jamie McKnight. Remember him? Didn't even take the grid in race 1. No, he did take the grid eventually, but was very didn't take the starts at least, and didn't start from the pit lane. But he's back into a fourth place now.
Man, what a chaotic start, and Michael Frost is in dreamland right now. Second and a half in front of Tony Klusterman, who made a very daring move on Jamie Jeffrey. He knows he had to make that move quickly. And now, behind Jeffrey, we have a nice train of cars with McLeay, Wormingham, and of course McKnight, who's leading this pack, and who's that? Wormingham, yeah, and Johnny Brandon has somehow already made his way up to P8, as we have a move here for 4th place. McLeay gets past McKnight. Foggy is up to 10th position right now.
McLeay could still win this one, you feel. He's at the moment about 3 seconds behind Klusterman. He's the main guy that he's going to have to beat, I imagine, if he's going to win this race. But actually, he's a bit further behind than that, isn't he? 6 seconds behind. No, he's 3 seconds. Klusterman, though, up into the lead. He's got past Frost. Was that a mistake from Frost? That's a very strange place to overtake. Slow down? Can't get a slow down there.
No, but Tony seems to be very in a hurry today. Yeah? In this second race, he's made a couple of nice overtakes. And look, I mean, Jamie Jeffrey is the hardest guy to pass. He's the Ryan Newman of Euro V8s. I mean, not the first time that we see him, not being the fastest, but he has every right in the world to keep his car in front of the others, and the others will have to push him a bit wide, as McLeay just did right here. Now,
that
careful.
turn 2 is just asking for trouble, isn't it?
I mean, that is almost as bad as the shorter layout. Not the shortest, the shorter layout in Ulton Park. I think it's called Island.
Oh yeah, Island, yeah.
That dreadful hairpin. I mean, the Foster's layout is beautiful, but the Island layout, that's another time where I was driving in the Skippy, and I completely forgot that we were running the Island and not the full. And I managed to avoid everyone, but it was not pretty.
Oh god, so what? Do they cordon off the full layout? So did you go in the wall, or?
No, I basically steered hard to the left in order to hit the barrier and, at least hit the barrier and not other people. And then I flipped several times, end over end. 3 wide in the meantime.
Yeah, that is, Brandon making up 2 places potentially, but I think McKnight will have the better line into 2. Oh, he gets shoved around, and then that goes into Brandon, who must be thinking, what have I done to deserve this? And once again, turn 2 features, and it's causing a lot of problems at the moment for the drivers. Brandon eventually gets back on the track, but he's way down the order in 15th. At least he should have a good starting place for race 3. Sanderson and Namella alongside. Sanderson might be able to keep it around the outside there. Namella missing a lot of the front part of his car, but he's been missing that ever since turn 2 on the opening lap of the race, and it doesn't seem to be hindering him too much, as long as it doesn't get too dark by the end of the event.
No, it shouldn't. Of course, race 1 in morning. I think, yeah, race 1 is in morning condition, race 2 is in afternoon, and race 3 will be late afternoon unless we get a night race. Of course, I don't know if you noticed, but the the endurance event 2 weeks ago was supposed to be at night, and I don't know if you are signed up to the league on iRacing, but I would have to be super thankful to Clyde, because basically they said in the email to all the in the private message to all the members of the series that they were switching to a day race because of broadcasting reasons, and I mean, I was so grateful, because commentating an enduro at night is tough, as here comes Chin on Jeffrey, but an enduro at night in a track that has no night light for racing, it's even worse. And Chin somehow driving, I don't know, looks like one of my looks like my former car when I reversed into a pine tree without noticing it a few years ago.
It looks like a proper banger racer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That thing. I mean, it really wouldn't put out of place. I mean, let's get onto the mini oval we have around this circuit, and then it'll be right at home, because that is, I mean, that wouldn't pass an MOT any day of the week, would it?
Race 3, sorry, will be sunset, by the way. I've been told by Clyde right now. And let me say a big hello in the chat to one of our old acquaintances here on Apex Racing TV. If you remember him from the days of the Grand Prix series, Alexandro Varnava is watching the race. You remember the days when we used to do the Grand Prix series on God.
No. Jeffrey and warming up, well, that was absolutely out of nowhere.
That scared me like horror movie jump scare. I don't know about you. I was completely absorbed in my, let's watch it again.
I could kind of hear it coming, to be honest. Oh, that was a bit ambitious.
I would tend to agree with you.
That's the type of move where you think about it. Oh no, Frost! Well, it's a bit cold out there, and Michael Frost goes off the circuit and drops to 7. That's a massive shame for Frost. He was I thought he might have a chance at a podium. Maybe that was a bit optimistic, but was running in the top 3, I think, at the time, but drops to 7th now, still top of the club drivers. Can't remember what we were talking about earlier on now, Marco.
We were talking about the Grand Prix series.
Aha, yes.
Those were the days.
Yeah, that was good fun. I don't think we were even paid for that, were we?
No, we were. We were paid.
Okay. But I mean, it was probably only about 200 quid a broadcast, which was very, very low compared to what we get nowadays.
I mean, I remember it was on Sunday at a terrible start time, which
oh yeah, it clashed with 2018 Monza. I remember.
Also, yeah, during Vettel spun during the interviews of that race,
yeah.
and I had to contain my excitement. Would have been very, very bad, as Jackson gets past Foggy, as 11 minutes on the clock, and this fight continues.
I think that was just Jackson defending from Foggy. Managed to wrap it around the outside through 1. Leaves a lot of room for Foggy there. He was at threats of causing some contact. They're still alongside. They've been alongside pretty much this entire lap. And back down the inside goes Foggy again. Now this should be where he gets the upper hand, but it's very off camber there. Gets the inside for the right-hander, and we'll have the inside for the second right-hander as well. Great work from Nicole Foggy to move up into P4, and considering that he was off the circuit on the first lap, that is very impressive. Frost has binned it into the wall. The guy who benefited when everyone else was going off on lap 1 has made a mistake himself now, and maybe it's not an Australian thing, maybe it is intercontinental. Well, he didn't put wheel onto the guts, I was just dropping it on the power.
Yeah, and he managed to slow it down, but as you can see, he had to go back to the pits, maybe, I think, more than out of damage, out of frustration, because this could have been a fantastic result for him, as Jamie Jeffrey also is in the wall. There we go. and back onto the racetrack.
Policeman being caught at Met by McClay on that last lap. McClay, no, he wasn't caught. The gap's certainly smaller than it was, though. I think it was at about 3.5 seconds before. There you are. Thanks, Mark, for proving my point. It hasn't come down much. 3 seconds down to 2.1 now. There it is. So yeah, he was gaining, but only lost 1/10 on that last lap. I think he'll be a little bit faster on this time round, Warren McClay, but he needs more than he's gaining at the moment to get anywhere near the Canadian by the end of the event. And this time round, pretty much matching one another. So Klusman on course for another race victory. He has lost out in this season as the pole sitter. Cullen is off the track. I think going into this season, I think Brandon and Foggy may have been, Brandon and Klusman may have been joint leaders in terms of races won, just on over 30 apiece. As Switzer now goes on. I believe Brandon is well clear now in that department, but this will be what Klusman's second race win of the season. He hasn't got too many.
Yeah, Tony, of course, excels in endurance races, and we only have 3 of them each year. So.
And Foggy's pretty good at them as well, isn't he?
Absolutely, but you know, if Tony is having a bad season, you can bet him on in the enduros. Not really his cup of tea, these super sprint races, but you know, today he seems to be in a very good position. Now, will he get the white flag? I think he will. Last lap of the race, Salela Blanca here in Mid-Ohio, for Tony Klusterman, who looks to bring home well, another victory in his prestigious Euro V8 career, and I think he is about to be joined in the double champion club, even though he is the only one to have won back-to-back titles in this championship, if I'm not mistaken. He will have some new, you know, a new neighbor in Nicole Foggy come the end of the day.
Yeah, of course, Klusman won seasons 1 and 2, and then Taliancic in 3, Dotka 4, Brandon in 5 and 7, and it looks like Foggy in 6 and 8.
Oh yeah, of course. Also, I mean, I'm getting older. How can I forget Johnny Brandon winning 2 titles?
Oh yeah, of course, yes. But they are all joining one another on 2 titles apiece. But Tony Klusman is going to take the top step of the podium. He wins race 2 at Mid-Ohio. Congratulations to Tony. He made it tricky for himself after that first lap, but he still ends up winning out. McClay and McKnight round out the podium. Foggy to a good 4th. And he changes further back. Wilson catching up to Sanderson. They'll finish in 7th and 8th. And last of the drivers on the lead lap looks as though I think it's going to be Cullen again, remarkably, which might mean we have a very similar similar pole sitter to what we did in race 2. Buzan's right onto the back of Jeffrey, who has hit the wall already in this race. I wouldn't be surprised if Buzan has as well, though that car, to be fair, is looking quite clean at the moment. The number 2 looking every which way. Oh, Jeffrey! Oh, come on, you had it in the bag. You had it in the bag.
That is
and Cullen's going to be pretty close as well, but dearie me.
I'm of course joking, but that could be the Evdoka tactic, you know?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm joking. But
remember,
course,
that's the Evdoka Buzan tactic. So if he did that on Stan Buzan himself, that would be ironic.
It doesn't flow very well. So for me, it's the Evdoka rule. And the Evdoka rule says that in the past we had a fixed reverse for race 3, and that has not gone to plan in Sonoma a few seasons back. And so now we have another. I mean, for everyone's happiness, we have another reverse wheel to spin. But before that, Sam will guide you through the race results for race 2.
And you can see some nice shots as well in the background. Tony Klusman wins out, 1 second clear of George McClay. Jamie McKnight finishes in 3rd. There's Nicole Foggy, Chris Jackson, Marco Namella, Wayne Sanson, Jamie Wilson, Joshua Chin, and Johnny Brandon, the Jays. Anthony Woodward was in 11th. Then top of the club jazz, he always manages to get to top of the club jazz, doesn't he? Steve Lavelli. 13th was Richard Warriam, and then 14th Bill Switzer. Behind that was Samuel Buzan, Jamie Jeffrey, and Ben Cullen, who will once again be last driver eligible for the reverse grid. Michael Frost retired, so too did Nikolai Bukatayev and Andrew Hoffman. So it is time for the last reverse grid of the season, and the last reverse grid you'll spin. This could be, Mike, I want you to appreciate it. No other race has the double wheel. This might be the last time we ever spin a double wheel again, before ARL inevitably steals it from Clyde Whiting. But until then, this is going to be the last time you're going to spin it. So, quite a moment.
Quite a moment indeed, and I mean, I remember when I was just a rookie, and I was so jealous of Samuli spinning that wheel in Euro V8s, and then I became the master of the wheel, in my opinion, and you know, still gives me, you know, it's still a fantastic feeling. So, one more time in the Euro V8s, let's roll it. Well, 14 plus 1. Sam
So
Buzin.
15. Oh, well, if Jamie Jeffrey was going for the Dr. Buzan tactic, then that serves him right. Because he has denied himself a pole position by going off the circuit on the final lap. Sam Buzan instead will take that one. Oh, that looks fantastic. Even though I'm pretty sure it was just a mistake, but Buzan on pole then. Bill Switzer alongside him on the front row of the grid. Brandon starting up in 6th place, so it could be dangerous from that place. Certainly do check in then in about 15 minutes time for the final race of the day, the final race of the season in the Racetech V8 Supercar series. See you back very soon. Welcome back to the Racetech V8 Supercar series, live on Apex Racing TV. The last time we'll be saying that this season, and we are just preparing for race 3 of the evening here at Mid-Ohio. We've already seen race wins for Nicole Foggy in race 1 and Tony Klusman in race 2. George McClay finishing runner-up in both of those races. But we are just getting ready for this race 3 at the moment. Once again, will be 15 minutes in length. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Once again, Marco Barbanir is alongside me. Once again, well, sorry, no, not once again. It was looking like we were going to see the same pole sitter as we did last time. But instead, we have got Sam Buzan on the pole position for this one, Marco. How would you assess his chances of getting a podium? A driver who has won a super sprint previously.
I mean, these night races are always pretty chaotic and prone to surprise results. And you know, Sam, of course, is one of the most experienced drivers in the field. So I think he can push his elbows very wide, and maybe, just maybe, you know, hold on to a victory or perhaps a podium. Who knows? I certainly wouldn't look past him for the race win.
Certainly, the driver's just completing this 10-minute practice session at the moment before we'll jump into the race. Of course, very cool track temperature now. This is a sunset conditions, and it should be getting darker and darker quite rapidly as the race goes on. So you don't want to lose the front end of your car like this man did, Marco Nomella, back in race 2. If you do that, then you're in big trouble. It's still 25 degrees track temperature, so it's not especially cool, but a bit of extra grip for these drivers to use around this short layout. Just to find pretty much a summary of race 1, race 2. The place of trouble is turn 2. It's absolutely been crazy down there so far today, especially off the start. On pole position, then, as we were saying, Sam Buzan, Bill Switzer in second place. There's Richard Warmingham. Watch out for Warmingham. Never won a race in this series, Richard Warmingham. I think he has a decent chance of winning today. Not winning either is Steve LeBay or Anthony Woodward. Johnny Brandon, defending champion, he starts from 6th. Then it's Joshua Chin, Jamie Wilson, Wayne Sanderson, Marco Nomella, Chris Jackson, Nicole Foggy, Jamie McKnight, George McClay, Tony Klusman, race 2 winner, of course. Jamie Jeffrey, with his dodgy tactics, deservedly starts in 16th place. Then it was Ben Cullen, Michael Frost, and Nikolai Bogatyrev, the last driver on the grid. It is dark at Mid-Ohio. The lights illuminate the circuit for the final time in this season 8. Away we go. Buzan with a good start. So pretty even start for everyone in the top 4. Can Granton gain any places? Nice work from Warmingham actually, and Switzer straight away dropping down, very cautious on the outside circuit. There goes Warmingham down the inside. He makes contact. It was too big, too quick, and now lots of drivers have had to go very wide, and it's Johnny Brandon straight away up into the lead, up 5 places, and Warmingham went all or nothing, and it was absolutely nothing for him in the end. Nomella up into 3rd place, will be up into 2nd place now as Bill Switzer runs wide. Sanderson gets tapped around as well by one of the Chimera drivers, and also going off the circuit. I think that's Foggy. Foggy is off the circuit, and Sanderson making contact with McClay now. Switzer was involved in that one as well, with McKnight right on their tail. Absolutely incredible, Marco. This might be due to the cold tyres or something, but that's just basically race 2 on steroids.
And of course, in dark conditions, maybe your braking marker is not as obvious as it was during the during daytime, and of course the chaos of the beginning of the race. Shoulder barge there, another shoulder barge from McClay to Switzer as they enter the 2nd lap of the race. Dear me, what a start!
Oh, McKnight's almost gone from deep into turn 2. Oh, well, I mean, we'll have to get a replay of the start eventually, because honestly, what Warmingham was thinking, going for the overtake, absolutely proving me wrong when I thought he could win the race. Frost off the circuit. I think he may have collided with Foggy actually. He seemed to be pretty slow coming out of T2. Klusman getting past Switzer. Klusman with a lot of damage, or a lot of scraping at least on the side of that door, but crucially it's all right. Woodward has somehow lost 8 places as Woodward. No, or lost 4 places as Woodward. But somehow has got a very clean car. At least on one side, the other side, admittedly, is looking worse than where. Chin and Foggy now onto the back of them, but it's Brandon leading Nomella there. It was, oh, that was so unlucky. So many of the drivers who were just kind of pushed out wide and they had nowhere to go.
Getting a replay here and seeing part of the carnage as it unfolded into the hairpin there in lap 1.
Can we get an onboard of Brandon by any chance? Going from 6th to first.
Your wish is granted.
Here we go. One of the best starts of the season. I mean, it was a good launch as well, to be fair. And you can see how cautious Switzer was on the outside of the track. Brandon actually having to slow down a lot for him, and to be fair to Brandon, leaving a lot of room on the inside as well. And then pretty much from here on in, it's not in his control. Everyone else goes wide, and he goes up into lead, and that's 5 places gained. So Sanderson has moved up into 6th in order. Has been very consistent so far. Today has Wayne Sanderson. Finishing, I believe, in the top 10 in all the races so far. McKnight, I think, flashing his lights a little bit there. Of course, a regular AOSC driver. Does extremely well in AOSC, actually. Didn't have a fantastic race on at Bathurst on Friday, but has got top 10s quite regularly in that championship. Maybe not quite the season that he would have wanted this season. Usually a little bit adrift of the XVR boys and sometimes the Never Quit Racing drivers as well. But had a podium as well in race 2, so driving well today. Foggy all over the back of Woodward. And once again, only a matter of time, but 15 seconds off his teammate already is Foggy. And of course, he will win the title, but it's not quite the finish of the season that he would have wanted as he scoops on by Woodward there.
Great pass there by Foggy, if he actually manages to complete it, which easier said than done around this place, but that's done and dusted. Joshua Chin is also... Ooh, Woodward goes straight for the pits as McClay. 107.810, that's the fastest lap of the race so far. And he's trying to catch back up to Jamie Wilson into in 4th place. There at the back, some overtaking opportunity maybe for McKnight, as Klusterman is also closing in on Sanderson, this NQR duo.
Could we just go to TV2 for a moment, Marco?
Yes.
No, it's just that there's a really nice shot that we haven't seen all day, just coming up, which I'm quite happy with. But and I didn't want to go an entire broadcast without it because we don't go to this circuit very often. But I do like that one. Just
this is, I mean,
going past the wall.
iRacing should hire you as a
oh, thank you very much. Honestly,
I mean the bar is pretty low, You know, they set a pretty low standard, so I mean. But if they were to hire someone, you know, even though that would mean that everyone would have our beautiful cameras, so I don't know. Maybe professional satisfaction for you, but big loss for Apex. So no, you stay here.
Okay. I mean, I go where the money goes, to be honest. So
I mean,
if iRacing are watching,
who doesn't in this day?
Who doesn't? Yeah. And that's a Chelsea support, so that's no more chew with you.
I will not answer that false claim, but let's go back to the racing because Chin is going through the daisies, and here comes Chris Jackson. Let's see the mistake from Joshua Chin. He clipped the grass, and you know, decent save there, but of course he lost a truckload of time. Back live because McKnight and Klusterman need to sort themselves out. I think Tony is a bit quicker If they want to go and catch Sanderson, they need to, do a multi 21 or multi 1-2 very quickly. Coincidentally, Tony Klusterman's number is 121. The silence is deafening after my pun.
Well, I don't know. I think it's more of a theory than a pun, to be honest. Because, well, I don't know. Maybe they have that thinking. But yeah, you are right. It's the last race of the season, though. So I imagine McKnight and Klosterman, to be fair, Klosterman's close race win today, and probably won't be demanding too much from Jamie to get past. He'll be quite patient. But Sanson is comfortably ahead of McKnight at the moment. He hasn't really got close enough for an overtake yet, which you do need to be very close, admittedly, around this circuit to go for an overtake. But so far, no nose being shown by the IndyCar driver, and Foggy is catching up to these guys. Fastest lap of the race, a couple of laps ago for Foggy. In fact, I think it was the last lap. In fact, they set the fastest lap of the race to 1 minute 7.78, over 1 second faster than what these guys set on the previous lap. And once again, a 1 minute 7.79, so 1/100th slower. So it's got consistency as well as the championship winner. This is the tightest battle. We've also got Chin being caught by Jackson a little bit further back. But that is a battle, I think, which will become evident quite soon, although matching each other on that last lap. Jackson with plenty of damage at the moment on that car. Sanderson under more pressure now from McKnight, but this is the parts of the circuit where it's particularly difficult to overtake. And they're now 5 seconds behind George McClay, who is comfortably outlapping them.
Beautiful sunset, metaphorically also, not only in this race but also in the season, and of course with the final 5 minutes approaching here on this final round, final race of the day. We are waiting for the fireworks, which iRacing should really implement for all road courses when you race at night. I mean, they need to fix it, because if you start the race in the day and it ends in the night, you don't have the fireworks, which is very disappointing if you ask me.
Oh yeah, of course. That could easily be calculated as well. You just set the end time.
Oh, here we go.
No, Sanderson's round, and through will go Klosterman. Well, that is multi 21 if you wanted it. Foggy moves past as well, and that was the Warmingham type move. And we've seen a couple of moves like that today, and it's not quite sure why. Well, maybe there's a bit of netcode in there as well. Obviously, down under is McKnight, but that was never a move on in that situation.
Have you seen the new balloon model that's coming into the next build?
Not what? No, I haven't.
Oh, basically, when you race in North Wilkesboro, starting from next week, at the beginning of each race, they will release hundreds of balloons in the air, just like it was done in real life.
Oh, cool. That's great. I mean, surely that confirms Red Bull Ring as well, because they have loads of hot air balloons, I think, around that circuit. At least on the Codemasters game, so you've got loads of just random hot air balloons in the sky. I don't know if that's actually reflective of real life, but fingers crossed that the Grade 1 circuit does turn out to be the Austrian track.
One of my favorite racetracks that we still don't have in iRacing. Very fun little track, plenty of cars can race there, so absolutely would get my thumbs up if we get it. By the way, I need to make a confession to you after all these years. Hot air balloons, when I see them in real life, they really scare me. So hopefully they are not.
Well, because they could. What? Why? Why are you scared of them?
They are too big, and seeing them sit still in the sky makes me really uncomfortable.
They're too big. What?
I don't know. I'm talking about hot air balloons, eh? No,
oh yeah.
Not simple balloons. Also, something that really scares me is those big, things that spin with the wind to make energy. I don't know how you call them in English.
Wind turbines.
Wind turbine, yeah, those really scare me. And the Italian countryside, especially in the south of Italy, is littered with them. It's the stuff of nightmares, man.
You see, I quite like them. I think they look quite nice. Unlike 90% of the population. I'm a big supporter of wind turbines, so can't quite relate to that one. No, that's very insightful. So, I mean, imagine if a hot air balloon hit a wind turbine. I mean, that would put you in a stroke. That would be absolutely horrendous. Here comes Foggy. Oh, this is a great pass, isn't it? Klosterman v Foggy. It's only for 6th place, but you don't get much better duels than this on Apex Racing TV. Two-time champions, of course, and the second and third most winning drivers as well in this series. And Foggy is trying to make his way past for 6th place. They're pretty much by themselves. McKnight another 2.5 seconds back. And on that last set, they were very off the pace. Klosterman struggling a bit, but I'm sure you'd love to beat Foggy right here.
Getting closer and closer to the end of the season here in Mid-Ohio as we are on board with Foggy. Let me say a massive hello to Ryan Walker watching us in the YouTube stream. The real Ryan Walker, not the driver. I mean, also the driver, but mostly a fantastic commentator. Also joined us a few times in the past covering this series. As these two guys, you know what, last minute of the season, so let's go for it.
Oh, Foggy, has he got part of his car alongside? No, he doesn't, but he has put Klosterman offline, and Klosterman gets a little bit of a slide. Foggy with a very good run out of the final corner, but no, it's not close enough for him. Quarter of a second behind now, drives it in deep into one. Is there a way down the inside for 2? No, there isn't. Klosterman blocks it off. And we have got one more lap after this, because the race leaders are so far ahead. So I've got 40 seconds to go in this one. There is Johnny Brandon, and yeah, he will comfortably start one more lap of this circuit. And this is pretty much the only battle left to be resolved. Also got, to be fair, Wilson versus McClay. McClay's still yet to get past. Looks like Steve Lavelli as well get a podium. I'm not sure if that's ever happened before. Up in 3rd place. But here is Foggy, and just has to back off a little bit, up to 4/10 now, the gap. So the final lap of the season. And it looks as though it's going to be Johnny Brandon to take a race victory. It'll be, should be Foggy, Klosterman and Brandon who win races, which is pretty cool for the last race of the season, particularly potentially as it will be the last race in Apex Racing 2. Certainly the 3 guys that we've seen dominate this series, and Michael Evdocker, of course, won a title as well. As Klosterman and Foggy, I think, were very close for a moment. And in fact, Klosterman, I think he temporarily lost it, but he's got it back again. He's back up into 6th position. Foggy will try to get past. Oh, Wilson and McClay are both off the circuit. There they are! And are they going to lose out to Klosterman? McClay coming back onto circuit. Can he hold them off? Here comes Klosterman. Can Foggy take advantage of this? Can Foggy go down the inside?
Oh!
Klosterman spins! And Foggy moves past. They're out in the lead. There's no question who will win. Johnny Brandon wins out, and Foggy's off the circuit. Nicole Foggy, who is going to be our champion, has slowed down off the circuit, and he drops to 9th. Namella finishes 2nd. Lavelli with a stunning podium for the official club champion. Congratulations to him. But what an incredible last half lap, and it's a short half lap as well. That was the move from McClay. Then rejoined the circuit, put Klosterman off slightly. Foggy managed to get past the pair of them, but has seemingly made a complete self-mistake soon after. Here it was, so Foggy can get past one here, and then drops it himself. And does well to keep it out to the wall. Well, that's not exactly the coronation that he wanted. But it is really something out of Coronation Street. as there he is in 9th place. He does finish, and is your champion for the second time in the Racetech V8 Supercar series. But absolute scenes. What about that? But forget that last half lap, Mark. The season from Nico Foggy after those first few rounds has been absolutely exceptional. Arguably the best we've seen a driver drive in this championship ever. I think Johnny Brandon was extremely impressive last season. The lack of mistakes he made, but Foggy arguably with that extra bit of pace was absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely fantastic, well-deserved title. Very chaotic end to his championship, but I don't think he will mind too much. Has been a fantastic effort all season long by Nicole Foggy. Congratulations to him. And I mean, we have had a spectacular trio of winners today. I mean, what more can we ask out of a V8 Euro V8 race meeting than this? So. I mean, by the way, I'm looking at the replay. Where is Foggy? No, there he is, as he gets our traditional slow motion. And I tell you what, let's get the final race results for this race 3.
Yes, and it is Johnny Brandon who wins. Marco Nomella in second place, and Steve Lavelli getting a podium. Now, I'm not sure if Lavelli's ever got a podium, but I feel like he must have got a podium already this season, to be fair. But that is still really great for him. So congrats to Steve. And, of course, is the club champion. First championship I believe Lavelli's ever won. He did finish runner-up in the club championship a few seasons back to Richard Warmingham, I believe, back in season 4. But I believe that is his first title in this V8 Supercar series. So congratulations to him, absolutely dominating that category. George McClay finishes in 4th place. I think the highest point scorer today, McClay. So congratulations. Then was Jamie McKnight, Chris Jackson, Tony Klosterman beats Nico Foggy. He'll be very pleased with that. Did lose to Jackson, however, and McKnight. They beat Foggy at least. Jamie Wilson finishes in 9th. Then was Wayne Sanderson. Apologies, just missed Nico Foggy. Champion Nico Foggy in 8th. Then was Wilson Sanderson. There was Frost, Chin, Cullen, Woodward, Switzer, Warmingham, Buzan, and Bogota. A few of them were retirees. It was a crazy race. And the first driver we're going to have a chat with straight away is Le Champion, Nico Foggy.
Good day.
Who is our season 8 champion. First question, Nicole. You won this championship in season 6. How does this one feel in comparison to that?
It's decent, but I know everybody has had a bunch, or more than a couple of bad rounds, so a little bit of luck involved, which I guess takes away a little bit from it. But it's still cool to win it. I had some great races, and that's the main thing: having good races with people, battles and stuff. And there was plenty of that. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
You've been absolutely dominant in the endurance meetings, particularly this season. I mean, what would you say has been the area that you've improved most across this season?
Well, I've been trying to improve my battling all the time. I love battling more than anything else. I guess it's probably the same with most drivers, to be honest. But to have a nice, clean battle, nice, good moves, and not figuring out what to do and not making like dumb mistakes and ruining other people's races, but still being aggressive enough to make the pass. And that's what I'm trying to work on. I think I've improved a bit anyway. And the other thing is throttle control. That's a big part. And apart from, I don't know if you saw the end of the race, I lost it over that sort of, the hump near the end of the track. So clearly I've not got it quite yet.
Well, I was thinking he just had tears of victory welling up and was impairing your vision. Maybe drive down to a castle or something to go see how awful it is. But next season, you've won this season. No one's defended this championship for ages. Season 1 and 2 for Tony was the only time that someone's defended the championship. You'd also become the first driver to win 3 titles. So there's a lot of motivation to come back next season. Are you coming back next season?
I think so. I'm 50-50 just now. there's a few things we want to do, and I know I've been focusing on too many cars at once, and it's a lot of work, especially the V8s. If you want, got to put a lot of work into the setup and just the driving anyway in the V8 because it's such a difficult car to drive. So I think I do want to keep doing the V8s because I've learned a lot in them and I've learned how to do the setups a bit better. So I'd like to come back. Depends what we're doing. Or maybe wanting to do like NEO or something like that. And I don't know what else, but maybe focus on 2 cars max and hopefully the V8 will be one of them.
Absolutely. I know that you guys at XVR have tried. I think you tried to get into Scops a few months ago. I mean, will you try to go down that avenue again? Are you going to try to kind of take on those Australian guys down under in this car? Or are you quite happy with just sticking with this series at the moment?
Yeah, I think it was a year. Was it a year, more than a year ago? Maybe it was a year ago, something like that. But yeah, when we tried it, it's on Australian servers, and our ping was about 450 or something. It's not so bad here on an American server, where I think the highest ping's around about 250. It's still pretty high, but you can still battle with it. But when me and Johnny were on track next to each other on the Australian servers, Johnny in front of me was just literally just swinging from side to side, covering the whole track, just because of the lag. He wasn't actually doing that. It's just the lag. And so that, unfortunately, can't race Scops. But I'm hoping to do maybe do the, the Australian Strength of Field on Monday. It's at Bathurst, so that's why I want to do it. But we'll see if they're on Australian servers now, because I know they have some dedicated servers. Well, I'll see what it's like anyway. See what my ping's like.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your second title, Nicole. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, XVR, of course. Immortal, Power Max Racing, and Virtual Racing Association, and of course you guys for broadcasting and doing such a good job of that, and the camera work as well and all that. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Nicole, and we hope to see you back soon on Apex Racing TV.
Nice one. Catch you soon.
That was Nicole Foggy then, Le Champion, right there. Marco, who do you want to talk with next?
Let's have a chat with the defending the former champion, Johnny Brandon, who's in the booth with us. Hello, Johnny.
Hello.
So,
how are we, guys?
Doing fine. How about you?
Yeah, not bad. Bit frustrating evening, but yeah, didn't do my best. It was disaster really. Nice to finish with a win though to the end of the year.
Can you say that this has been like a microcosm of your season? Some good, but also some bad, all together in one night. Just again, a microcosm of your entire season, which has been, I'd say, pretty frustrating all around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got to put my hands up tonight though. A lot of the mistakes were my own tonight, so I messed up qualifying. I should have been on pole, really. Then I drove like a bit of an idiot, make loads of mistakes in race 1, did the same in race 2. So nobody to blame but myself tonight, really. Whereas I don't feel that's the case through most of the season. But yeah, it's been a funny one, that's for sure. But fun nonetheless.
And what's in the future of Johnny Brandon here on iRacing?
Probably more V8s, I'm sure. I think we're going to be doing some endurance stuff, trying to focus on a bit of the special events, and as a team, and quite looking forward to this new BMW GT4 car coming out. Be having a look at that, but I'm sure I'll be back in the V8s because it's too much fun.
Awesome, man. Well, it has been an absolute honor to have you commentating on you all these years. Of course, you won, a lot of titles, races, and thanks a lot, and thanks for keeping the blue oval flying high for the past few years, Johnny. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
It's just for you, the blue oval. You know that, Marco. Just to keep you happy.
Thanks.
Thank XVR, all my teammates, Simortal, Virtual Racing Association, PowerMax Racing, Host 365, obviously Racetech that sponsor the league, Clyde and all the guys that put in a lot of work to run the league. It's appreciated. And you guys for the great broadcast all season. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. Enjoy your off season, and we'll catch you very, very soon.
Lastly, well done to Nickel Foggy for winning the title. He's a deserving champion, and I'm over the moon for him.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. Catch you very soon.
Cheers. Good night.
So I'll have one more driver interview. The last interview is kind of a driver, to be fair. Better driver than any of us. But Marco Numero is certainly a better driver than any of us because once again, finishing on the podium along with a 4th position as well, I believe, today. Marco, congratulations. I mean, first Brands Hatch 2 weeks ago where you were extremely competitive, and then today extremely competitive again. You must be delighted with how you've improved this season.
Yeah, it's I learned a lot about the car, and it was a good season. Yeah, my goal was to finish all the races, and I did that. So next season, maybe aim for a higher.
For today, I mean, how was it out there? Because we saw a lot more contact than we usually do. I mean, how was it from your perspective?
Yeah, it's a tricky turn 1 and 2, and the speed differences there it's a big deal. And for me, the race 1, lap 1 incident, I just got spooked by Johnny, and I should have just held the brake and taken the hit, but I didn't do that, and I think I hit Chris, and then Chris hit Tony or something like that. But yeah, it's a really annoying turn 2. So, but yeah, it worked for me on the last race, getting from P10 to P2. So
yeah, absolutely, that was pretty mega, that start. What plans have you and Racecraft got for the next few months? I mean, what series are you eyeing up? Are you planning to take parts in?
I don't know. I might just relax a bit. I've been practicing this car a lot, and I have a knee injury, so I need to fix that too. So yeah, that's my plan.
Certainly, best of luck with that one, Marco. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
My team, you guys doing the broadcast, the league sponsors, Racetech, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Marco, and we'll see you back very soon.
Alright, thanks.
So we have one more interview. Would you like to take this one, Marco?
Well, we can both take it, but absolutely, we will have a chat with none other than... Oh dear, look how dark it is out there. Let's bring some graphics in. Oh man, no, this is too dark.
It's like images of Chelsea's trophy cabinet. Gosh.
You know that is not true, but in any case, Clyde Whiting in the booth with us.
Good evening, guys.
Well, Clyde, thanks for stopping by, and again, I've said this to the drivers as well. What a pleasure it has been to cover this series for all these years, and for that, both me and Sam are absolutely grateful for the great opportunity. And it was another great season. New cars, you guys, had a lot more entries than usual. I was a bit concerned about that, but in the end, I think it worked. It worked really fine because the people who wanted to stick around, who had the passion for the car, stuck around, and in the end, we had a very, very compelling season, including this final event.
Yeah, so firstly, I'd like to thank you guys and Apex Racing TV for everything that they've done for the series. Obviously, with everything that's going on, and it's sort of hitting people financially, so we took the decision to take the broadcast in-house. But you guys have done us proud. Your knowledge of the series and the drivers within it. Sketchy sometimes, shall we say? But on the whole, Marco, you've been brilliant, and Sam has nearly been there.
Cheers. You won't believe, Pi, how often we hear that, how often Marco is given those compliments. So, oh yeah, you're all right as well, I guess.
Yeah, I should have really said, yeah, Marco's done really well, and that other guy that's with you is not too bad either. But no, we've had a fantastic season. Like you say, new cars. We was excited for the new cars. We sort of expected an uptake, which we got. We filled our 60 slot limit, although we never quite reach that for a race. You still get drivers that sign up and never race, but we had 53 drivers take part in the season. And it was a difficult season. You can see from our track choice there right at the end. We threw some curveballs in there this season. And Nicole Foggy has come out, on top of everybody. Some absolutely superb drives from him. And we've now got 3 double champions in the series from 8 seasons. So, everything is looking good at the moment. I don't doubt that next season we're going to get a similar uptake in numbers. And, we just go from strength to strength.
Who knows, if my Saturdays are free, I might also fancy my chances now that, I don't have to commentate. But I was talking to Sam during the broadcast. I mean, no matter what happens, we will always be fans of this championship. As a matter of fact, we were already making predictions for next season. So I mean, this series will always have a special place in my heart, and I'm sure Sam can say the same as well. I mean, actually, it was my first ever series on Apex, so. It's impossible not to be a bit emotional after today's broadcast, but I mean, yeah, I'll keep on following you guys because this provides for some exciting racing. The organization is fantastic. The drivers are basically like family to us. We all know them, and I mean, if you think about it, we spent together 2-3 years, so it's quite a long time,
Exactly, yes. And, it's, as I say, the league is going from strength to strength. Apex have had a big part in that because they get a lot of viewers for all of their races. But, we see a big upturn in viewers for our races. And I've seen people commenting in the chat, and then within a couple of weeks, they've signed up to the series. So those sort of drivers we normally wouldn't have picked up. But it's sad. It's the end of an era. But needs must at the end of the day. The championship will carry on, and if you guys are free on a Saturday night, there's always a place on the grid for you. You may have a target on the back of your cars, though.
Especially Sam. I I don't know if Sam wants to ask you some questions before we wrap up the broadcast.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Clyde anymore, to be honest. I thought us Norfolkers stuck together, but anything but, seemingly. So I guess, Clyde, in terms of changes for next season, in terms of format, is there anything on the horizon, or would you say you're pretty happy with how this is all, how the format is at the moment?
Well, at the moment, nothing major. We will have our admin meeting, and we do take suggestions from the drivers. There's a suggestion channel in our Discord. And, we do get some good ones in there. Some of the suggestions that you get, are just not practicable to do. but I think on the whole, it will be very, very similar to the way it has been. I'm sort of thinking about dropping the club championship. It hasn't really done what we wanted it to do. But yeah, I don't know. I watch a little bit of sim racing online, apart from our own series. And I think we've probably got the format fairly well nailed at the moment. With the excitement and confusion of the super sprints, your bread and butter sprint and feature rounds, and then the Nicole Foggy special endurance rounds.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think the formats for this series it's probably better than I think any other series we see on Apex. That's that big divide. I mean, some series, yeah, are a little bit all or nothing, whereas this is a fantastic spread. Final question as well, and this is a big one, and you can either answer what is your favourite moment of this season, or what's the favourite moment of your past 8 seasons. I mean, anything that stands out?
Holy cow. As the person with probably the worst memory in the world, I don't really have favourites, if I'm honest. I've enjoyed. Obviously, I'm going to be commentating next season, so I'm not going to be racing. I've thoroughly enjoyed racing against all of these guys and girls. I've had some tough moments. I've had some good results for me. But I think it would be unfair of me to pick a favourite moment from the whole thing. I thoroughly enjoy, the car, the series. The league has turned into it's a community. Yes, we have our arguments, but on the whole, everybody's friendly, everybody helps everybody. The amount of messages I get from people that say, other leagues are not like this, this is so much better, so friendlier. I think just the whole experience is my favourite.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Clyde, and of course, best of luck with the series in the future. Is there anyone you'd like to give shouts out to?
Yes, there is, believe it or not, and I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. First off, most importantly, I'd like to thank Racetech, our title sponsors. They've now been with us for 2 seasons. They've now gone into the sim rig equipment as well as the proper race gear that they do, so please go and give them a look. But I can't thank them enough. It's amazing to have such a big name in motor racing on board. You guys, I know I said thank you earlier, but you've done a fantastic job, and we wouldn't have grown without you. Thanks to my admin team. They don't really get any credit, but they do a lot of work in the background, unseen. And I tend to get the credit for it, but it's not just me. I don't run this on my own. I'd like to thank all of the drivers that have taken part. The series is nothing without the drivers. We can put on races every 2 weeks, and if nobody turns up, we haven't got a series. And finally, I would like to congratulate our champions. So I have uploaded the results. They do need a review because I think some of the minor places might be wrong. We're just going to have to have a look at our scoring app, but the actual champions all look correct. So obviously we've got Nicole Foggy as the overall Racetech Cup champion. Congratulations to Nicole. Congratulations to Steve Lavalley for winning the club championship quite easily as well, from myself. Team champions this year, XVR Sim Racing. So well done to those guys. They've done really well. Our forever forward champion is George McClay. So he did the most overtakes during the season. And a very special one at the end. Dominic Sori has won our Safe Driver Award. So well done to Dom. So congratulations to all those. thanks to everybody for racing, watching, listening, participating, sponsoring, broadcasting. And I'll shut up now.
Well, thanks for that, Clyde, and we will see you hopefully back very soon. And once again, best of luck with season 9.
Thank you guys, much appreciated.
Clyde Whiting there, the series organizer for this championship, and that is the majority of the broadcast done. I mean, I'd just like to say thanks to the series because I mean, we talked about how I think this was Marco's first series. I dabbled a lot around with a few broadcasts before. This was back when I was a terrible commentator, not the exemplary commentator I am now. But pretty much was rejected by everyone. And yet, when Year V8 came along, I believe it was probably January 2018. It stuck and done ever since pretty much the start of season 4. Ever since then, I've been sticking with this championship, and I've absolutely loved it throughout. Really fantastic to get to know the drivers so well. One of the best ways I think on all of iRacing. Thanks a lot to the organisers, to Clyde in particular, and to the drivers as well. And yeah, Marco, it's been fantastic. It's a real shame. It's a real shame that we're not going to be broadcasting this next season. But no, as you said earlier, we'll certainly be following all the steps of the championship.
I mean, just to close everything out, I just want to, just go back and watch that Bathurst 2018 broadcast, my first one, and compare it to this, and you will see how much we have improved as a team, as individual commentators, and I think most of it was down to I remember come the end of that season where I was basically then full time in Apex. I remember reading, having a discussion with Alex and Lee, and basically the guys at Euro V8 asked for me and you to be the full-time commentators. So I mean, and that was basically the beginning of our dynamic too, of course, no? And having the chance to work together on the same championship for several weeks, and for 2 years plus, really made us better commentators. I can certainly say this for myself. I think the same is true for you as well. And so the importance that this championship has had in our careers will never be underestimated. Again, very, very sad as well to not cover this anymore, but I will always remain a fan. So thanks a lot. Thank you to everyone. I mean, thanks for sticking with us through all these years. We wish the best to the championship in the future. And Sam, let's close this out.
Yes, I think so. So yeah, thanks to the organisers, thanks to Clyde, thanks to the drivers, thanks for you for tuning in, because you make this broadcast worthwhile putting on. And certainly, I think next season, do check out. It will either be a SIA TV, or it might be like maybe like a Year V8 channel. I'm not quite sure, but certainly do check it out. I mean, regardless, because don't just stick to Apex. Certainly do check out season 9 of this Racetech V8 Supercars series in the future. But yeah, thanks to everyone. Thanks to Marco in particular. It's been a good couple of years, and we'll certainly continue working together. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And for the last time, then we will tune out. So we will see you back very soon. But for now, I will say goodbye to the Racetech V8 Supercar series, and see you all very soon in the future.